In today's video, I'm going to speak about how to prepare for a job interview. This is something I'm really passionate about, and if you go on my channel and go straight to my playlists, you'll find two separate playlists. One which gives you virtual job interviews, and another playlist below that which gives a whole list of questions you could be asked for specific roles in sports science. If you don't do sports science, this video today is still really relevant for any job that you're going for, so please stay with me. I'm going to give you an example here. I've been offered a job interview, I've got a week to prepare for it. So what would I do in those 7 days to make sure I'm ready and well drilled for that interview? Well, there's different areas which I'd focus on. First of all, I'm going to research the company. I need to think about some of the questions which I'll be asked in the interview. I need to rehearse after that as well, go through all the questions and practice what I'm going to say. I'm going to start off with the research area. And if I was offered an interview at Nottingham-Trent University as a lecturer, I would be straight on Google trying to absorb as much information as I can about the company. But you don't have to be limited just to Google. Whatever it is, whatever job it is, look at Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube, anything you can find with information about the company. For a lecturing role, I would want to know about the courses, the research they do, who works there, facilities, how they treat the students. Whatever it is that's related to your job, get online and find out the information. You need to know this because you're always going to get those very simple questions in interviews, such as, why did you apply for this role or at this company? What do you know about us? And what makes you a good fit in that company, in that role? And if you don't do your homework by going online and looking into it, you're going to struggle to answer those sorts of questions, and that could blow the interview. It's as simple as that. So you need to make sure you're spending time on the company website, look on their social media as well, just try and get as much information as you can in the days leading up to that interview. Secondly, you're going to think about the questions that you could get in that interview. I would always ask myself, what was I asked in previous interviews which I slipped up on? And I'd think about it, I'd create a list, and I'd go through different interviews from the past. For example, I might have got a really horrible question in Leeds a few months ago, or Derby, or wherever it was. I got a question that I really struggled to answer. I've got time now to think about, if I get asked that question again, what would I say differently? I'd also keep it really simple. You can go on Google and pretty much any job, you can just type in the name of that job into Google and then say job interview questions. And there's loads of websites, for example, for a PE teacher. You can see here, this is just a few questions on the website out of many which you can prepare yourself for and get ready for the interview. YouTube's really good as well. My channel, as mentioned, already has playlists related to this, but pretty much any job, you type into YouTube interview questions for that area, and there'll be a few videos which can help you prepare for that interview. What I like to do is, once I've got a few questions in mind, write them all down and do a few spider diagrams around it. So this question here, what makes you a good candidate? You don't have to write out a perfect answer straight away. Think about it. The spider diagram, you can put some ideas together and start to formulate your answers. Now, one question might take me 5 minutes to prepare for. That takes a while if you're doing 20 or 25 questions, but it is worth it, I promise. So my advice going forward is exactly that. Write out 20, 25 common questions which you find on Google or YouTube, and just think about it. Visualize what you would say and write it down as well. The next area is rehearsal. You've got your questions, you've had a little think about it, now go to the next level with lots of repetition. What I like to do is visualize each question. So I've written all the questions down. I would visualize myself being in the seat at the interview, being asked the question. I would visualize how I would answer it. Once I've done that, I would do the same, but out loud. So I'd go through my list, I would maybe even read out the question, and then I would out loud answer those questions. I would reflect, and then I would just repeat. So I'd visualize the question 20, 25 times. But I would also answer it out loud 10, 15, 20 times. It's long, it takes a long time to do, but like I've said, it is worth doing. I'm really into imagery, visualization. If you want to learn more about how that is beneficial to you, check out Jake Paul's mental training, which I spoke about in this video here. It's also worth doing a bit of a mock interview, going through the questions with friends and family, and a mentor as well. It's nice to have the blend because friends and family, they can ask you the really simple questions, and the mentor, who's an expert in that field, can ask you the more technical questions. So if you can, get a nice blend of the two. So my final piece of advice in this area is just visualize and verbalize each question and answer 20-25 times. It is long, I keep saying that because that's a reality. It will take time to do this. If you do it, you will stand out, because most people might watch this video and say, that's too long, I can't be bothered. If you do this though, once the questions are asked in the interview itself, you will feel so much more relaxed. If you've practiced it 25 times, doing it for the 26th time will feel pretty easy. Just some quick points before I finish this video. Think about technology. It sounds really patronizing, but if you've never had an interview on Zoom before, I would ring someone on Zoom a few days before and just navigate your way around Zoom, such as sharing your screen, or even just checking your Wi-Fi as well, making sure it's strong for the interview call. Think about the clothes. Again, maybe a bit patronizing, but don't go shopping the night before. You're going to panic if you go into a few shops that are about to close and hasn't got your size or hasn't quite got what you're looking for. For me, I would go shopping a few days beforehand just to take the nerves away. So to summarize, I've got a week to prepare for a job. What would I do? Well, days 1 and 2, I would research the company. I'd be on Google or social media, and I would write down 20-25 questions which I can find. Day 3, I would answer the questions out loud 20-25 times. And in the middle of that week, I would call someone, ideally a mentor, someone who's got expertise in that field, and I would test my Wi-Fi and do a bit of a rehearsal. I might even go shopping as well that day. And then the last couple of days is just repetition, repetition, repetition. It might drive you insane, but trust me, you will be much more relaxed if you just keep going through this over and over again. Okay, thank you for watching this video. As I've mentioned, I've got plenty of videos in relation to job interviews. If you would like something more specific or you have any questions, please get in touch with me on Instagram @SportsScienceHacks. Okay, thanks for tuning in, and I'll speak to you again soon.